whispering wreck of Black Sand Isle. A desolate, fog-shrouded island in the North Atlantic, known only as Black Sand Isle. Its sole inhabitant is a crumbling lighthouse abandoned decades ago. The island's black volcanic sand stretches like a scar along the shore, where the skeletal remains of a 19th century schooner, the Mariana's Dagger, lies half-buried. Locals claim the ship's crew vanished without a trace, and those who venture too close hear whispers in the wind. Clara Hartwell, 32-year-old, a marine biologist obsessed with maritime mysteries, drawn to the island after discovering her grandfather's journal. Mentioning the wreck, Elias Finch, 68-year-old, the reclusive lighthouse keeper's grandson, who warns Clara to leave before the tide turns. The Shadow, a figure seen pacing the ship's deck at twilight, its face obscured by a tattered captain's hat. Clara's boots sank into the damp black sand as she approached the wreck. The Mariana's Dagger tilted precariously. Its mast snapped like a bone, sails reduced to cobwebs. Her grandfather's journal had described it as a ship that hungers, though he'd never explained why. Elias found her at sunset, his lantern casting jagged shadows. "Leave before dark," he rasped. "The tide ain't the only thing that rises here." But Clara stayed, lured by the ship's logbook, rumored to still sit in the captain's quarters. As twilight bled into night, the air turned frigid. Clara climbed the rotting hull, the wood groaning beneath her. Inside, the stench of brine and decay clung to her throat. In the captain's cabin, she found the logbook, its pages warped but legible. June 12, 1887. Cursed. The storm drove us here, but the island, it breathes. Men hear voices in the fog. Last night, First Mate Graves swore he saw his drowned wife on the shore. We must flee at dawn. The final entry was a single sentence, scrawled in frantic ink. There in the walls. A cold breath brushed Clara's neck. She spun, her flashlight revealing nothing, until its beam caught the shadow of a man reflected in a shattered mirror. His uniform was tattered, his eyes hollow pits. The air filled with the sound of dripping water and distant, garbled pleas. Clara fled, but the ship's corridors twisted unnaturally, trapping her in a labyrinth of rotting wood. The whispers grew louder, voices overlapping. "Join us. She's waiting." When she stumbled onto the deck, the tide had risen, and figures stood waist-deep in the ink-black water. Skeletal crewmen, their jaws slack, seaweed coiled like nooses around their throats. Elias's voice cut through the chaos. "They drown anyone who reads the log." He yanked her into a rowboat, just as the crew's bony hands clawed at the hull. Rowing frantically, Clara watched the ship fade into the mist, the shadowy captain still visible on deck, his laughter echoing like a bellbuoy in the dark. Back on the mainland, Clara discovered her grandfather's name in the logbook's final pages. He'd been the sole survivor of a 1952 expedition, the same year Elias's grandfather vanished. Now, in her apartment at night, Clara hears the drip of seawater and a faint knock at her door.